Hey guys, J-Games here again. This is me. What if Ichigo could copy Zanpakuto powers? Now, this title's a bit vague because he mainly copies the powers of the person in general. Like, if you were to fight a Hollow, he'd get their, like, if you were to clash with them, he'd get their Resurrection abilities because he clashes with their Zanpakuto. But this Zanpakuto, this basically is Shikai, is that he could copy their powers, then his Bankai would be able to use the Bankai, the Zanpakuto he stole. And then his main power is stockpiling the Zanpakuto. So yeah. He would clash with the user of Zanpakuto. Like, if you were to clash with, say for example, Kenpachi, he'd get no Nozarashi, but if Nozarashi, he copies Zanpakuto spirit, he copies every aspect of the Zanpakuto, every aspect of it. Hollows are a bit different because they have resurrections. That's about it. But it's also just them in general. So Ichigo would get a different kind of resurrection to his own liking. So yeah. But yeah. So Ichigo were to copy just like no Rashi. Ichigo's aware of how Zanpakutos work. He's aware of what he needs to do with his Zanpakuto. He knows Rashi better than Kenpachi would. Plus, he can copy Kenpachi's skill, durability. He copies every aspect of Kenpachi's being if he were to use Nozarashi. Or if he were to clash with, say, Byakuya later, he'd copy every aspect of Byakuya and keep his Zanpakuto. So yeah, but that means he copies every aspect of their being, like I said before. So you copy his Shunpo, his Kido, his Hakuda. You copy every aspect of their power. And the thing is, he can't use it at all times, but he can memorize it and train for it, which would happen when Byakuya would break his Zanpakuto. Byakuya blocked a strike, and he thought he had to fight Ichigo. He had high hopes to fight Ichigo until they clashed, which was something that comes in handy for Ichigo. As his Zanpakuto, he can only copy it if the other person wants to have a battle with him. If someone wants to have oh yeah, you're trying to fight me, I'm not trying to fight you. You're insanely weak, or I'm insanely weak. Either you're weak or I'm weak. I don't want to fight. Yamamoto would fight Ichigo, but he wouldn't think of it as a fight. He'd think of it as playing with a child. So Yamamoto his Zanpakuto wouldn't go to Ichigo. Or Aizen, his Zanpakuto wouldn't go to Ichigo because his superiority complex. It would just make it so Ichigo wouldn't be held in high regard. It would take Bankai Ichigo to copy Aizen's Zanpakuto. Then again, Ichigo doesn't need his Zanpakuto to be Aizen. So that's how it goes. But yeah. Plus, Ichigo, if he copies Zanpakuto spirit, well, if he gets along with the spirit better than you, he'd learn Bankai if you don't have one, or he'd learn Shikai if you don't have one. Kind of how his power works. So, yeah. So, yeah, Byakuya would break his Zanpakuto. He would train in Urahara's cave thing. And we'd have to push back the date of, the Soul Society arc beginning. So we push back Riki's execution. And, yeah, without pushback. And, Yamamoto kind of worrying that with Urahara and Land of Living and Ichigo being a Shinigami, he actually does say that Urahara could be possible things. So we need to take things in case the Soul Reaper come after us with Urahara's capability helping him. So they'd be setting up a lot of traps for them all. So yeah. So Ichigo with them has a lot more time, as he has around a week total to go get Rukia. A week to train to go get Rukia. But, well, he says that he's going to train on his own. He wants Yoruichi and Urahara to train his friends. They would do so, being Uryu, Chad, and Orihime. Ichigo just takes 3 days to get a new Shikai, get a new Zanpakuto, then learn Shikai. It takes him 3 days in general to do both. But then he actually, with him learning Shikai ability, as he is told by Zangetsu, Shikai will be dangerous to learn in battle, so I'll just tell you what the Zanpakuto ability is. You can copy Shikai, and here's how it works, as he breaks it down for Ichigo. So Ichigo looks at Yoruichi and Urahara saying, both fight me, just like you're gonna kill me. This does make them a bit curious. They would fight Ichigo, but Ichigo clashed with Yoruichi first before putting his own Zanpakuto into hers. Then using Shunpo on her scale, maybe just mix with his own Shunpo, which is actually somewhat outspeed her on some degree. Point where he's able to hit her in the neck with enough force to knock her out, which shocks her. He doesn't have to use every aspect of Yoruichi, but he can. He can keep some aspects of his own power. Then he's at Urahara before pulling out this is the original Zanpakuto, and Urahara just smirks, saying, I get what you're trying to do. But he broke out that he modifies his Zanpakuto, so this may not work for him at all times, or it'll work, but it'll be weaker. So this Ichigo and Urahara clash. Then eventually, with that clash over, Ichigo would eventually will kind of end the fight here now, and he keeps training with both these Zanpakuto. Well, mainly the ability he copied of them in general. He didn't tell them that he can copy every aspect of their being, and none of this is Zanpakuto. They also thought he trained Shunpo to get ahead of Yoruichi with his Zanpakuto spirit. But eventually we go on now to when they go to the Soul Society, and while they're here, Ichigo happens to be a lot stronger. He's strong enough to actually currently take on Renji and win without using anything but a regular blade. He'd fight Renji, wouldn't really get damaged too much. Him for the Ikaku fight. So he's stronger than canon, but he's still not captain level just yet. He's getting there though. One thing he did take in is a lot of just Kido that he memorized from Urahara and a lot of Kido from Yoruichi as well. Kind of memorized every power that she had, but hasn't learned all of it. He's learned a lot of assassination abilities. He learned Shunpo on her scale, and he learned a lot of Kido from them both. So yeah, so basically he's a Shunpo master, Kido master, and a Hakudo master. But he's not comparing to those two in either categories until it comes to Shunpo, where he beats them both. So yeah. So while he's here, he would fight against Gin as the whole gate thing happens, and Gin and him would clash for a second he clashed with Renji previously. He forgot that Renji wanted to fight him. So he basically found out that he could use Renji's Zanpakuto on his way to the Soul Society, used it to cut Gin across the chest, and with his Zanpakuto switching Gin's, he copied Gin's Zanpakuto still. So he has Gin's Shinso, which is Shikai is just extending. So, yeah. So with this, we go on now to just, my bad. To where everyone there would have to undergo, Reishi control training. Reishi doesn't need that. He already has good control over Reishi because he had to copy Kido. So it was only his friends had to do that. Well, Ichigo told about a Bankai and how it works. Ichigo would get to know his other Zanpakuto spirits before he gets to know his own. Where he gets to know Benihime, Zabimaru, Shinso, he gets to know those three. But he gets to know Zangetsu as well. Because Zangetsu would weird him out, but not the other Zanpakutos because these aren't his, they're other people's. He gets along with them a lot easier because he knows that they can't be his, they aren't. So he used to treat them like they're different people than what's in his sword. Which is a lesson he learned once he conquered other people's Zanpakuto. So he didn't get to learn his own Bankai, but he had to learn Bankai for others Zanpakuto. Or get to learn Shikai mainly, but then was able to develop an affinity with them to the point where he learned Bankai if he took an extra hour or two to train. An hour or two is all he needs to learn Bankai. So yeah. So Ichigo enters Soul Society would fight Ikaku first. Well, first he fights other Shinigami, but they're not really too strong. But Ichigo would run in the 11th Division area. That's honestly just sheer coincidence. As he was actually landed somewhere he landed. He didn't get shot away, he just landed. So he landed in the 11th Division barracks, found Yumichika and Ikaku, fought them both, and beat them both. He didn't even use his Zanpakuto, he honestly just used raw Hakuda and beat them both to a pulp. Kenpachi isn't here right now, and neither is Yachiru. So yeah. But Ikaku and Yumichika defeated, and he still clashed with them both as they wanted to fight him, or they had to really, so there's a need that they had to fight. Ichigo copied Ikaku's Hozuki Maru, then copied Yumichika's, pretty sure it's called a Rudi Ito Kujaku. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Alright. So Ichigo can just go about fighting more Stormtroopers, hoping if they have strong Zanpakuto. But for the end of it, he only found one Zanpakuto that was worth anything, and it happened to be Izuru's Zanpakuto, Wabisuke. Where basically Wabisuke allows him to increase weight. By pounds or kilograms if you want to do that. So Ichigo can double it each time. So Ichigo pretty easily just beat Izuru by just outspeeding him. So yeah. He also punched through Wabisuke, so yeah. He didn't break the thing in half, he kind of just punched the hook and destroyed it and then hit him in the face. He knew his hand was being weighed down now, but he used that weight to actually just control it right into Izuru's face, crushing his skull, kind of. So yeah. So he used his Zanpakuto to evade a lot of the damage, but then punch through it once he could. How do I phrase this? Kind of what he did with Ikaku and Michika, he did with Izuru, where he would use his Zanpakuto for defense, but use his hands for attacking because they weren't really worth the Zanpakuto blow. So yeah. But when he fights Kenpachi, they fight. Ichigo's using Nozarashi. But Ichigo's commenting how Kenpachi doesn't know his sword whatsoever, which does confuse Kenpachi. Ichigo points out that his sword should not be able to be dented or scratched, or just be rigid like that, which is confusing what he's saying. Well, it's a sword, it's supposed to be like this. If I use it so much and don't clean it, Ichigo's like, no, it's a Zanpakuto, not a regular sword. Your Zanpakuto is your spirit. This means that you don't know your Zanpakuto whatsoever. This means you're weakening yourself by accident at this point. Kachi doesn't like the idea of weakening himself by accident, as like, no, I'm weakening myself on purpose, like eye patch and such. She was like, yeah, you can do that on purpose, I can tell. This Zanpakuto thing, that's not an accident. You should know how to treat the sword, so it's not working. With this, Ichigo actually wants a challenge because he has Kenpachi's everything about him, which does include a bit of his mindset as he's holding his Nozarashi. Ichigo says, so wait, how are you using your Zanpakuto? Kenpachi just describes how he uses it, and Ichigo's like, oh, that's a problem. You're using it as an extension of your limb. We were even supposed to do that. It was like, Kanji's like, that's what you're supposed to do with the sword. That's how you become a sword master. She was like, a sword master, not a Zanpakuto master. Some Zanpakutos and swords are very similar, but Zanpakutos are their own people. You have to know that. So I'll defeat you here and leave you with that lesson. He will fight Kenpachi again, and then he beats Kenpachi and will leave. Even if Kenpachi went all out, Ichigo was still to beat the hell out of him at this point using Nozarashi, because Ichigo inherited everything about Kenpachi, which would include his potential. So Kenpachi had no chance of winning either way, because Ichigo does not restrain himself. He would have beat Kenpachi. So yeah. Pause. Alright, so yeah. With this, Ichigo kind of copied, Benihime, Zabimaru, Shinso, Hosukimaru, Ruri Kujaku, Nozarashi, and Wabisuke. And, he did train for the extra hour or two with Bankai, but before that he fought with, the Byakuya. He pushed Byakuya to his limits, to the point where Byakuya is using Bankai and everything. All it takes is that Ichigo is using Wabisuke. That's all it takes. He's using Wabisuke. Plus he can duel Zanpakuto. He learned that ability, not yet. He'll learn that ability later, but he can duel Zanpakuto if he wants to. But anytime that something's coming at him with he's using a bit of like the skill he learned from Renji Shimpo, he's able to basically just send all of Senbon's Zakura flying back at him by just deflecting. It's not that hard for him to do. But eventually one of the Senbon had impaled him, then slowed him down, then impaled him again. He's being impaled all over the place. But Yoruichi intervened, saving Ichigo, and she saw how much damage he did to Byakuya. But Ichigo smirked, saying he claimed Senbon Zakura. So Ichigo's whole thing was like how to phrase this? Yoruichi was basically questioning Ichigo, how'd you lose that fight? Ichigo's like, I was losing on purpose, which confuses Yoruichi. He's like, what do you mean you were losing on purpose? Like, why'd you do that? Ichigo says from the start he was getting cocky and didn't want to fight me seriously, forced him to get serious, which he used Shikai, which split his blades into pieces. So I resorted to making sure he would hit me, so he would use much or make sure they can hit me a lot, which made him use larger scale attacks. I took enough of those to the point where I was tanking him a lot of them. So I used large scale attacks to the point where I could get enough of blades to form a real sword. So he needed to use enough petals to the point where it could form or pass as a real Senbon Zakura. As Yoruichi's so you took all those blows just to prove that you could take them, and he would take you more seriously. Which went on saying, yep, and it worked. Plus, also, I could sense you were nearby, so I trusted you. I see your smiles. So, alright, good, whatever. She puts Ichigo down in the cave, trains him for 3 days. In those 3 days, he eventually just spent an hour or two getting his, Bankai that he has in canon. Also getting a whole new Bankai, which happens to, getting a new Bankai and Shikai. He keeps the same Shikai, but he has 2 Bankai, basically, where he's be combining all the Zanpakuto powers, but also using the same one as in canon. We also get a Bankai for his canonical Zangetsu, plus combining all those Zanpakuto powers that he has. Then he has Urahara's Benihime, who would have that Bankai. Then he has Renji Zabimaru, which he actually gets along with better than Renji does, so he knows the true name of Zabimaru. He thought stronger than Renji's canonical Bankai is. Sorry about that. Then he has Senbon Zakura, Shikai, and Bankai. He has Gin Shinso, both Bankai and Shikai. He has Kaku's Hozukimaru, Shikai, and Bankai. Ichigo's is Shikai, which I'd make a Bankai for. Then he has Kenpachi's Nozarashi, and will learn a Shikai for it. Nozarashi was a bit stingy, so, yeah. Then he has Izuru's Wabisuke, and he learned a Bankai and Shikai for it. Or Shikai and Bankai. I'll go over what each one is. Ichigo's 4 times already. Benihime, which is Urahara's Zanpakuto, allows him to basically create a red, the Shikai basically allows him to create a red slash, or a red barrier, or a red arc, or cancel attacks, or use a net, or tap the net and it explodes. This is the abilities of the Shikai. And this happened to be slashes from his Zanpakuto. So yeah. Then his Bankai happens to be disassembling and reassembling anything he wants to. So yeah. Ichigo learned that, but on a much lower scale than the 1,000-Year Blood War. For Renji, he has Zabumaru, which he's able to use his sword as a whip. His Bankai is basically like Suo or Sao Zabumaru, which allows him to basically get like a snake skull gauntlet, and with an extending blade coming from the mouth of the snake. And then he has 8 arms that can grab and punch things. Ichigo would have that as well. So he has basically the 1,000-Year Blood War Renji Zanpakuto. Then he has Byakuya, Senbon, and Sakura, same as in canon. Shinso, Gin's Zanpakuto. He has basically Shikai, which allows it to extend. The Bankai, which allows it to extend even farther and faster. But then it has poison. So, yeah. He has Ikaku's Hozukimaru. And Shikai is a 3-sectioned spear / staff. This Bankai is basically just giant blades. And when the dragon builds up to his full power, he can probably deal more damage. I think that's it. But, yeah. Yumichika's Rudiiro Kujaku basically allows him to use a Shikai that is just vines that grab and take Reishi. Like, grabs people and takes Reishi. But then Bankai I had to make on my own. Basically just, his blade kind of turns into a whole tentacle. Once they clash, the tentacle wraps around your Zanpakuto and absorbs your Reishi. And then it blooms flowers that can actually, allow him to bite onto the flowers and will heal all wounds and restore his Reishi. But this one kind of happens regularly, so he doesn't need to bite into the flower just blooms. And then once it blooms, Ichigo keeps getting Reishi from said clashes. So yeah. Kenpachi Sunozurashi, he has the Shikai, which is a giant cleaver. So yeah. Ichigo's Wabisuke is just a curved a 90-degree curved blade, and it can add double the weight to whatever it touches. Like, say for example the blade's 4 pounds, Ichigo's Wabisuke hits it, now it's 8 pounds. Oh, he hits it again, 8 pounds turns to 16 pounds, 16 pounds turns to 32 pounds, so on and so forth. But then the Bankai allows him to actually increase weight by not pounds or kilograms, but tons. So the blade's 4 pounds, Ichigo hits it, now it's 4 tons. Basically just goes 4 times 1, but then if there's a ton, so it'd be 4 pounds turns to 4 tons. Basically, 4 pounds times 4 tons, then it would just turn to 4 tons in general. And the blade is basically almost impossible to hold now unless you're a beast of physical strength. It will cut you off guard for sure, that's the best way to put it, so yeah. So Ichigo healed immediately as he was brought to safety. So he healed himself immediately using Kido that he copied from Urohara, got back up. Then was ready to throw hands. So yeah. But when it came to him freeing Rukia, he stared down all of the vice captains, and said all he needs to beat them is one finger. Look at him thinking of his Kaki as even Byakuya's a bit curious, saying he's not wrong probably, but he's intriguing. Ichigo would use a Kido spell or Hakudo spell or Hakudo, spell. And would use it and basically create a giant explosion that was seen all across society and defeated all lieutenants in front of him. Soifun would attack him as well, but she attacked Ichigo. Ichigo hit her inside the neck really quickly, which wasn't enough to knock her out, but it was this way that actually stunned her for a second and she was stuck in place. Yoruichi appeared, and then Yoruichi began fighting Soifun when she recovered. But Ichigo stirs up right at Byakuya, saying all he needs to beat Byakuya is a Shikai. Byakuya's like, are you sure? All it takes is a Shikai. Ichigo was before something Senbon Sakura, saying, yeah, all you need is your Shikai to be specific. Immediately Byakuya froze, saying, I see the point of the battle. You could beat me anytime, but you lost on purpose. You should take my Zanpakuto powers. You lost on purpose because you knew she was close, and just took my Zanpakuto. She would nod before actually Byakuya's impaled through behind, and he's just completely confused immediately. But realizes that he's not on Rukia's pedestal anymore. He's in his Bankai zone. He froze, saying, "Don't tell me you learned it." He just says, "I already had it. The moment me and you clashed, I learned your Zanpakuto. I learned your Bankai. I learned it the moment we clashed." He said that just honestly scared Byakuya. He just use Bankai to scare Byakuya. Byakuya's like, "You say you're only Shikai?" She was like, "No, scaring you is more fun." So he decides to use Bankai rapidly and almost kill him. And it takes around 3 minutes for him to almost kill Byakuya. So, yeah. So he dispersed the Bankai zone, freed Rukia, and let her go. So, yeah. But she's like, what about my brother? He's gonna die. She was like, oh yeah, forgot that I learned Kaido. So he immediately just began healing Byakuya, and he's healed almost instantaneously. Then with this, we would see like Komura arrive alongside like by the captain. Like a few captains arrive, but Yamamoto actually asked Ichigo how he beat all these lieutenants with just one hand, with one finger, and how he stole Kenpachi's no Zarashi. Kenpachi would report that. Ichigo says he can say in Zanpakuto that he wants to if he wants to, so it doesn't really matter. But he'll be leaving now that Ruki is gone, or not gone, but she's freed. Yamamoto was like Ichigo saying, "Sorry, I can't let you do that." Ichigo just used Wabisuke. You can Yamamoto clash, and Ichigo then says, you need to grip your blade harder. Suddenly Yamamoto's blade would go up to like a ton or two. It's like, oh, it's not enough. He picks the blade up again. He just discharges him rapidly, begins clutching his blade. He's not trying to steal his Zanpakuto, he's just increasing the weight on the blade a lot. When we should slash him in the span of 1 second, they point like he's using Shunbo as well, but after a minute, most of the blades is almost impossible for him to hold now. You just have him past Ichigo's hitting him. Like the blade's impossible to hold, I'd say. He was eventually dropped it, only get kicked in the chest, and sent flying far back. Then Ichigo went to slash him across the chest, which Yamamoto's like, oh. Then he forgot that Ichigo's slashes were caused the weight, so his whole attire is just hit. And he hits the ground immediately, being unable to get up. He's able to like move some parts of his body, but it's a lot harder to move. Ichigo produces kind of like small tiny cuts on the outfit, and eventually by that time Yamamoto can't even get up off the ground anymore, which infuriates him to the maximum. He says, "Shunsui, give me my Zanpakuto." He's like, "Sir, can't you get up?" But Ichigo immediately says, "Sorry, no, he can't." Ichigo made like 10 small cuts on top of Shunsui's hat. Shunsui hit the ground immediately. Well, the hat kind of fell off. Shunsuit got back up, wondering like what the hell is wrong with the hat. But Ichigo arrived saying that he learned my Bankai. I don't know how he has it when I don't, but he learned Bankai. Ichigo says, well, simple as that. Your Zanpakuto would increase, your Shikai would increase the weight by pounds or kilograms. Your Bankai is increasing it by tons. If I learn it well enough, I can probably increase it by just 10 tons, not like doubling whatever ton I made it first off. So yeah. So this could kind of shock Izuru, but who cares? Eventually Izuru will go on good terms with everyone else, and then eventually leads on to probably just the next arc beginning. Because they get on pretty well, it's going good. Well, he would fight Grimmjow, but this doesn't happen just yet, because I'm in this part here. This one you should see what would happen. Please enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.